Can Dana White fix boxing? Watch this video. Hello, welcome to On Me Ed, son. I hope you're all well. So, UFC president Dana White, he's been touted as potentially getting into boxing combat sports to put on his own events. Now, can he save boxing? Can he improve boxing? For me, there's a big issue here because Dana White and the UFC operate completely differently to traditional boxing. Dana White is the promoter, the event organizer, in some cases the manager. He controls all the advertising revenue. He dictates what boxers can wear in the octagon, what kind of advertising that they must advertise and things that they are not allowed to advertise. Dana White and the UFC very much hold all the purse strings, and they're very restrictive on what the fighters can do. Now, the fighters, some of them absolutely love it, some of them don't, because in terms of MMA, it's the highest earning MMA platform out there. UFC is number one. So whatever the big boss man says, you're kind of going to go for. However, in boxing, there's a lot more room for negotiation. There's a lot more independent negotiation. You got your boxer, your promoter, your manager, and then obviously there's another boxer's promoter and manager, and then all of a sudden you can create a bespoke event based upon two boxers going head to head and whatever their attributes are. It doesn't really happen at UFC. You basically say, okay, there's this fighter, then this fighter. It's all under one big stable. You're all under the UFC. Yeah, you all might have different managers and different PR people, but essentially you're all under the same banner. And it's just like Julius Caesar in the Colosseum. You know, you fight him and it's either up or it's down. That's the way it works in the UFC. Would that sort of style work in boxing? I don't think it would. In terms of having an individual event, similar to one of the videos I made recently when I'm talking about Saudi Arabia and Turkey Al Sheikh and their boxing league and how it might implement in the future and how long that would take. Yes, in those terms, if UFC Dana White teamed up with Turkey Al Sheikh to run or host the boxing league of Saudi Arabia, I could kind of see that. And if they want to take that boxing league in terms of a UFC style event that they go around the globe, yeah, I can kind of see that. But we're talking quite a few years for this to materialize and for this to happen. The point is, as we know, that when you're starting out on your boxing journey or combat sports journey, until you've made a name for yourself, until you've got a big following, until you've got some credible wins under your belt as well, and many wins under your belt in some cases, and also especially if you're at the right weight division as well, because we know the heavyweights get the most money and then it sort of trickles down as well. Until you're at that stage, you're not really earning anything at all, really. So if you're going to start up a boxing league, then pretty much it's going to be full of most boxers who are not a household name. You might have one or two and they're going to earn all the money and all the rest is just going to be, well, just getting whatever's left over. But you've got to have a product to sell. You've got to have something that people are going to want to buy into and going to want to be invested in, either paying for and also watching as well. So the only way you have that is strip away all the politics, which the UFC have kind of done, and also what Turkey Al Sheikh has tried to do, and just put on big 50-50 fights all the time, or whatever fight you put on, it's an absolute banger. Boxers are going for it and they're exciting fights to watch, regardless of their stature, of their existing branding or their ranking in many ways. Could Dana White come in and solve a boxing problem in terms of the problem of getting fights together? You know, without Turkey Al Sheikh and Saudi Arabia's influence, we'd still have the same problem in boxing. And in many ways, outside the Riyadh season fight cards, we still have these issues. We still have the problem of getting great boxing events on and a great undercard on full of 50-50 fights. It just doesn't happen. And I've said it in a previous video that you can't really have 50-50 fights all the time or most of the time, because you need to be able to build up a boxer's career and build up their profiles. So as an audience, as a fan, you can latch onto them and follow their journey, and you want them to keep on winning. You want them to keep on winning, and maybe against lesser opponents, because you want to keep on believing that this is a boxing hero that you can follow and that you can believe in. If you're always having 50-50 fights, you may not get that. And if this kind of happens within a UFC style boxing event, then it might not be sellable. It might not happen. You may not get those heroes that you want. So can Dana White fix boxing? I don't think he can. I don't think he can come up. I don't think he can come up with a solution that's going to work in terms of boxing. What I think can happen is that the Dana White influence on a Turkey Al-Sheikh or Saudi Arabia boxing league might work, but it'll take a generation for this to come off. We're talking 10, 15 years, maybe even longer, until you get that next generation of fighters coming through who abandon the traditional route and they just go into this boxing league or this ultimate boxing league or whatever, the UBL if you want to call it, something like that. Dana White helps Turkey Al-Sheikh run it. Dana White fixes that problem in terms of putting on great fights that people want to watch, but it's going to take a long time to get sorted out. And it only becomes credible if it poses a serious challenge to the existing governing bodies and the existing commissions. If they're out of the picture and the UBL, the Ultimate Boxers League, takes off under the directorship of Dana White, then we fix the problem. He's fixed the problem. But until that happens, I don't think so. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. If you like what I do here, well, just keep on watching the videos and I'll catch you again. Bye now.